Plaquemine Parish Council, May the 25th, 2023 meeting is now called to order. We'll have roll call. Let the record reflect that 8 council members are present. Mr. Konovich is absent. We'll move to the next item, please.
2, executive session, there are none. 3, proclamations, there are none. 4, status report by the parish president.
Mr. President.
Let me get the mic.
I'd like to welcome Ms. Vaughn and Ms. Taylor here today. Nico, I know Doc Gui recognized Mr. Bartholomew here just a little while ago. Heck, I sat here and listened to Charles's report, and it's basically the same, similar, other than just different little projects going on. We did have a good day last Tuesday up in Baton Rouge. Spent the day in the Capitol, just kind of roaming the halls, I had a meeting with Senator Alon, who's the chair of the appropriations. You would kind of hope that you could walk out there getting a good feeling, sort of did, and then all of a sudden you don't, and then you do, and then you don't, So it's a roller coaster ride, trying to keep a few projects on the list there of future monies there. So we're still working on that. There's one bill that that is on there for us. It's a severance bill for, I think there's like 18 parishes that deal with oil and gas. And they put a cap on it. It's like a $1.1 million cap, but that's what we make off those oil and gas revenues as it is right now. There's a Senator Bagley out of DeSoto Parish. DeSoto Parish and Plaquemines Parish, they create and they produce the most oil and gas of all of these 18 or 20 parishes that this affects right here. So what he's trying to do, and I don't know how successful it is going to be at the end of the day, but he's asked me to just kind of help him get with Mac and work through this process. He's trying to put the cap off for Plaquemines Parish and DeSoto Parish at $10 million that would go in for economic development, which is infrastructure, roads, sewer, and also. If that can happen, that's $10 million a year that would be coming to Plaquemines Parish. The Port Sulphur Water Treatment Plant, Mr. DeMarco just kind of made me a list here of where we are and the status of it. Trigon has done the engineering. The contractor is Barnes Electric. There's a pre-construction meeting that was on the 17th. There's a notice to proceed on June the 19th. Submittals are being submitted right now for the equipment, and as soon as all of the submittals can be approved by the powers that be, by Trigon, then they'll be able to move forward with that right there. The intake pump house, the engineers, Kyle Associates, the contractor, and we've signed this contract with E3 Electrical. That's to repair the water pumps, but they're still trying to work on those numbers as well, through this process. In Infomark AWI, this work is going on right now. They're taking care of all of the catwalks and all of the ironwork, the railings, and these were some of the issues that we were having on that administrative order that we had right there. So that's about good for me right now. I'll let Jeff and Billy, if they've got anything to add to it here in a few.
Any questions? From the ops side, we're moving steady along anyway. We're hitting something in every district. All of the fires have been put out that you guys have pushed forward to us. I think District 4, we had one, it took the longest only because we was waiting on a sub. But we're moving and we're kind of hopping around from one end to the other end to the East Bank. That way everybody's getting some shared time. We're doing the best we can with what we have, and it's working pretty good. Hopefully you guys are hearing some of that feedback from the public.
Good.
Is there any comments from the?
Just one more thing. Look, I really do appreciate your guys' gratitude, with the administration and all. But let me hand it out to you fellas, to the council as well. I'm up in Baton Rouge now, and talk is out there about how things are going on in Plaquemines Parish. And just like up there with Miss Constance in Gretna, had met Brian at some meetings, and she had a lot of real good things to say about the way they feel how things are going on in Plaquemines Parish. And it's good for them when we get along as a government here, because it's just not like we all ran. It's just not like Plaquemines Parish. We're not here just by ourselves. This is a regional time in life that we're in right now. And Jefferson Parish, they see the value of Plaquemines Parish. And so I've really got to hand it out to, and now also Senator Carter. He sees it as being a regional process and the way things are going. So with Senator Carter and Senator Connick, they really do appreciate the way things are happening right now in Plaquemines Parish. Now look, Senator Carter, last Sunday at 9 o'clock in the morning, we were having a conference call, and as he was going to Baton Rouge, we were sitting there going through the capital outlay, and he's up there hustling monies for Plaquemines Parish as well. So I want to thank you the council, for the way things are going right now in Plaquemines Parish here. So
Thank you.
Christy Albro is our
I was gonna do that.
I'm sorry, Christy.
It's my turn to speak. I was gonna tell Mr. President that I was gonna help him out and introduce Miss Alborough out there. So, he said your name.
I said you.
Any comments from the audience?
Nico Tesovich, school board member representing District 3. I want to echo Mr. Hinckley's comments about working together. That's something that we've got going on right now in this parish between this council, the assessor who's sitting behind me, the clerk of court who's sitting behind me, the president and his administration. You got 2 school board members sitting in the audience. When we all work together as a team, it's amazing what we can do. And we turned a page in Plaquemines Parish, and I hope we can keep all that going. So thank you, Mr. Hinckley, and everyone who was putting together that Plaquemines Day at the Capitol. It showed us coming together and showed people that there's something special going on here in Plaquemines Parish. And everybody from Avoyelles Parish to Webster Parish needs to realize that Plaquemines Parish, we're making a move forward, and we're moving forward strongly. You better watch out, because we're going to be a power player here real soon. So thank you to the council. Thank you to the administration for the partnership. I hope we can all keep it going and keep Plaquemines moving forward. Thank y'all for that.
Thank you, Mr. Tesovich, for your comments. Is there any more comments from the audience? We'll move to the table. Dr. Gui?
Keith, I really appreciate the work that you're doing with Charles, because we all know that it's hand in hand. The port development and the government, it's hand in hand. One impacts the other. So it's refreshing to see that you guys do meet on a regular basis and you come together cooperatively on stuff.
Well, just this morning, I had a meeting with BKI, Bert Kleinpeter, who they're designing the Walker Road project. And here not too long ago, it came to light for Charles. He realized this, when I brought him into a meeting to discuss the Walker Road bypass and extension and all, it was eye-opening to him as well. And then like I told him, I says, look, I know you guys are spending a lot of time right now with the rail, but this also is happening in that same corridor. So we need to get on the same page so that the rail is not being designed right on top of the highway. And so that's the important thing right there. And then it's just, like I told Charles, and I've told you guys in the past, I'm here to be an ambassador for the port, because I think we've done a lot of good things in the past, and it's all coming to fruition right now, so.
And my last thing, Billy, I really appreciate you clearing out that jungle behind Omega Street. It's been there for years, and it never was done, and I know you had to contract it out, because that's just the way it is. We couldn't, the base fence was in the way, but appreciate that, and the residents do too. I'm taking all the credit, though. Okay, just want to let you know.
Reverend Edwards?
Yeah, I want to thank the administration, and there's a lot of things in District 1 that have been elected for years. And in 5 months, you corrected year-long problem. The people are extremely excited about the David Park. They're extremely excited about most all the dirt on that Highway 39 is moved. People are extremely happy that to see the marina being cleaned up. There's a lot more work to be done, but I want to say that this administration will notice that you have done some things in 5 months that people have been trying to get done for years. So I really want to really thank Bill and Jeff for the extreme amount of work that's been happening. So, I'm really excited about the work being done. There's some other stuff I'll talk about that when we come up to the Stonehaven stuff. But thank you for the work that this administration has done. And people say, well, why it took years? I said, well, different in administration. So again, truly on behalf of the district, we want to thank you. And I'm talking about stuff that people have been trying to get done for years. You did it in 5 months, so thank you so much.
It's this team right here next to me, these three individuals, three folks, it's a team right here. And I appreciate them as well, too, because they really are making Plaquemines Parish look good as well, so thank y'all.
Yes, I also would like to thank you and your administration for the assistance that we received for the two-sack challenge, everything that was done, and it was truly a successful event. Again, and I knew if it wouldn't have been for y'all, it wouldn't have been successful. From the CEA agreement to having the mosquito control coming in days early, and we didn't have to deal with mosquitoes or anything. It was truly, thank you, Mr. Billy and Mr. DeGarmo. Anything else from the table? We finished kissing up now? We'll move to the next item, please.
5, bids and advertisements. 5A, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing Marsh Master MM2MX KCFH with cutter and accessories and trailer or equal for a period of one year for use parish-wide. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Jurtich. Any comments from the table? I'm sorry, from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously 8-0.
B, a resolution authorizing the acceptance of bids for furnishing fire equipment for a period of 1 year for use parish-wide. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered. Seconded by Mr. Schultz. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
C, a resolution authorizing the purchasing agent to advertise for and dispose of surplus vehicles and equipment on an as-is basis through public auction conducted by Henderson Auctions. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered.
Second.
Seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And your measure passes unanimously, 8-0. Next item, please.
6, beer and liquor licenses.
Please key in if you have any. Dr. Goy?
I have one for Little G's Cajun Restaurant, 9338 Highway 23. And I have one for Hop Inn, which is formerly the Circle K on Belchase Highway.
Mr. Schultz?
Yes, I have one for Circovich Fuel Center LLC, 7876 Belchase Highway. And I got one for Belchase Express, 7812 Highway 23.
Reverend Edwards?
You know, I can do this now? Yes. Yeah. I have a special event for Father Day Bash in Breakaway, and it's being, Carolyn Stokes is a person on file for it. It's a Father Day block party, and this will be held on Father Day at 122 Paul Street in Louisiana, but really it's English turn.
I also have one for Mr. Anthony Henry Jr., One for Love Fitness and Monitoring. It is a fishing tournament, and it's June the 10th, 2023. I so offer. Do I have a second? Seconded by Dr. Gui. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration, machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
7, building permits. 7A, construction permits, there are none. 7B, Venture Global Gator Express LLC, new construction in a floodplain zoning district, 1234 Lake Hermitage Road, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered.
Second.
Seconded by Dr. Gui. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration, machines are open.
B, Venture
And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0. Next item, please.
7C, Lots Fireworks, Amanda Lot, fireworks stand renewal for 2023-9273 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana. Councilmember Gui.
Offer.
We have a motion by Dr. Gui, seconded by Mr. Schultz. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration, machines are open. Measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
We have many. The following are for Councilmember LaFrance, a resolution authorizing the parish president on behalf of the Plaquemines Parish Government to name and accept the proposals of the Plaquemines Gazette as the official journal for the Plaquemines Council and all other political subdivisions and districts situated therein, of which the Plaquemines Parish Council is the governing authority, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution to appoint Mr. Victor Scarsoni as chairperson and Mr. Bernard Bacchus as vice chairperson of the Plaquemines Parish Development Board for a term ending on May 9th, 2025, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2023 General Fund Operating Expenditure Budget Disaster Preparedness Department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2023 Firefighting Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Firefighting General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2023 Firefighting Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Firefighting General Department for a different amount. It is a different intro. I have 2 for Councilmember Jurisic. An ordinance to amend the 2023 General Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Buildings General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended to readopt the Plaquemines Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 2, Section 2-17, Rules for Transaction of Business Before the Council, Rule 11, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The following 2 are for Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance directing the Plaquemines Parish Government Finance Department on the appropriation of the firefighting fund capital outlay maintenance designation and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance directing the Plaquemines Parish Government Finance Department on the appropriation of the parish surplus designated fund balance and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the last 3 are for Councilmember Champagne, a resolution approving the requested variance filed by Floyd and Megan St. Germain to vary the minimum requirement front yard setback of 20 feet to 7.11 feet in an A1 zoning district on a portion of ground designated as Lot E2 of the Equiland Incorporated Division, 1500 South Industry Street, Belle Chase, Louisiana, Plaquemines Parish, Section 2, Township 14 South, Range 24 East, all in accordance with the application number 2023-510 dated April 12, 2023, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District Map therein adopted by reference, which is paraph thereto, with reference to application number 2023-511, dated April 5th, 2023, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend and as amended to readopt Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as amended, and the Comprehensive Zoning District Map therein adopted by reference, which is paraph thereto, with reference to application number 2023-512, dated April 5th, 2023. That's it.
Thank you. We'll move to the next item.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 9A1, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of Lot 1A, Parks of Plaquemines, Section 2, T14S, R24E, Southeastern District of Louisiana, west of the Mississippi River, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, into lots 1B and 2B, Parks of Plaquemines, Section 2, T14S, R24E, Southeastern District of Louisiana, west of the Mississippi River, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering Incorporated, dated March 27, 2023. The owners, having fulfilled all the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
I offer.
We have a motion by Mr. Champagne, seconded by Mr. Chris Schultz. Mr. Champagne.
The bottom line on this is the owner had previously taken 2 lots, merged them into one. Now they're requesting to re-subdivide them into 2 lots, and I assume with the intent to potentially sell. That's it. I yield.
Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
Mr. Chairman, can we move to 11A1, please, if, without any objection?
Okay, can we move to 11A1?
A resolution to approve, reject industrial tax exemption application 202000136 ITE for applicant Stolthaven New Orleans LLC for participation in the industrial tax exemption program relative to their expansion project in Plaquemines Parish. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered.
Second.
Offer to reject.
We still need to suspend the rules.
Okay. We have a motion to suspend the rules?
I second it.
Yes, I made it. You seconded to suspend the rules? Any comments from the audience? Table? Machines are open
For suspension.
for suspension. And the measure passes unanimously.
A resolution to approve, reject industrial tax exemption application 202000136 ITE for applicant Stolthaven New Orleans LLC for participation in the industrial tax exemption program relative to the expansion project in Plaquemines Parish. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered.
Second.
Seconded by
Whenever.
Reverend Evans,
And this is to reject.
and that's to reject. Is there any comments from the audience? Come on. First one out the gate.
All right, council, once again, Nico Tesvich, school board member, District 3 in Belle Chase. I just wanted to pass on a little bit of information to y'all in regards to ITEPs. The school board is in the process of putting forth a set of criteria and a set of procedures and a policy in regards to ITEP applications that come to us on the school board. I am suggesting that the council take a look at doing that as well. So whenever somebody or a company presents an ITEP, they know what they have to do. It's a fair playing field for everybody. It provides data rather than having to rely on opinions. So it's something we're looking at. Mr. Newsom came to our committee meeting the other day. We're most likely going to discuss this at our school board meeting coming up on not this Monday, but the following Monday. I highly encourage all of y'all to come attend. It's going to be at the Learning Center in Port Sulphur. And we'll talk about ITEPs and procedures a little bit more, because we want to move forward with this. Other parishes, their school boards have procedures and policies for ITEPs and guidelines, and I'm more than happy to sit down with any of y'all one-on-one and talk about those guidelines and what we're looking at doing, so we can talk more in depth than here in this forum. I say, I'm here to suggest that y'all take a look at that as well, either by forming a committee or talking one-on-one or however y'all see fit. I'm open to talking to y'all about it. I am the chairman of the school board ITEP committee. I've got a good bit of background with the ITEPs, and looking to have everybody be more educated. And just like I spoke earlier about partnership, about us all working together, I think this is one more way we can work together and make sure that we have a united front when we're dealing with local businesses. So thank you for the time. Just wanted to let y'all know about that.
Hi, good afternoon. Richard Springthorpe. I'm representing Stolthaven Braithwaite, 244.
Sorry, what's your name?
Richard Springthorpe.
Okay.
I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm representing the business there, obviously seeking approval for the ITEPs, and just wanted to offer myself to answer any questions if you have any relating to the particular exemption.
Anyone from the table have any questions?
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions any comments from the audience? Any more comments from the audience? From the table?
Yes. I talked to the manager at Stolthaven for the last 2 weeks, and I told him that I was going to recommend that we reject his industrial thing for a number of reasons. This company is located on East Bank of the river, been there forever. And from what I found out, I don't know how many employees do they have there. I know we only have 4 from Plaquemine Parish employed, and I think they're supposed to have 15%. And I think they got anywhere from 80 to 85 people, and only 4 are from Plaquemine Parish. I think 1 from the West Bank. I'm sorry?
It says 84.
Say that again?
It says 84.
84. And I'm saying out of 84 people, and they've been there for a long time, they only have 4 people. I think so. I also talked with the guy, how can there be more better corporate sponsor with us, and doing, I know they give some money to the school. I know they're buying food from the Catholic Church and stuff. But the people, residents in the area that I talked to, think they could be better partners. Say they went to them about helping them with the wall, because they're putting sandbags in Brickway. How can they help them with the wall? Reject. And there's so many other things the residents say they went to them and asked them about, and they don't see them as really helping them. The gentleman was up here talking earlier. I love that comment he made about setting up a guideline. I think we should set up some guidelines where if people are going to be getting the kind of tax exemption we get in them for, then they should be investing more into some infrastructures in our community. Brickway have issue with galvanized pipes and a whole kind of issue. And if a company making the kind of money that they're making, it should be. And me and the manager had these conversations that I'm having with y'all, so it's nothing new. So I made it very clear. I didn't know what to position the count. I said, but I'm calling for rejection. And I want to take up what the gentleman said earlier. We have to settle some guidelines. We can continue to be giving people all these tax breaks, and we're not getting nothing in return from it. We need a lot of money, and we're giving up money. And to me, that's what will be happening in this situation. So I hope that we can all agree to reject this industrial tax exemption.
Is there any more comments from the table? Mr. Newsom, hold on. Go ahead, Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I saw Ms. Taylor. Is she still here, Ms. Taylor? Would you mind commenting on, I hate to put you on the spot, but commenting on the financial pluses and minuses for government and for us?
Sure. Sarah Taylor, Assessor, Plaquemines Parish. I am not an expert on the ITEP program. I am not an expert on Stolthaven and their investments. But I will say from a tax roll standpoint, last year, the customers of Stolthaven paid $1.7 million in taxes. That's actual tax dollars. We're on track to increase that number this year. So far, preliminary numbers are in, and that's just Stolthaven. That's the only thing I looked at, not overall tax roll, but the numbers that their customers are higher. Stolthaven paid around $500,000 in taxes last year. And I want to make sure I say, when you approve an ITEP, you are still getting revenue from it. You're getting 20% of what they've invested. So I just want to be clear that there is still revenue coming in. And I'm happy to answer any questions on that.
Ms. McCarty?
We spoke yesterday. You said they paid $1.7 million?
The customers, if you collectively put their
The people who put their oil in their container.
Right. Whoever has inventory stored at Stolthaven, they do not benefit from a tax exemption. So anybody that stores stuff, unless there's some other rule that they're applying for, which to my knowledge, these were the taxpayers. I only ran 2022's taxpayers. So these did not benefit from any sort of exemption.
The 1.7 million, maybe I'm getting the number confused now, but I think that's also the 80% amount, 1.7 million, that they would have an exemption from.
No, the amount that they invested, and again, this would be maybe a Stolthaven question, but there are two ITEPs we're talking about here.
Okay.
One of them is for 9 million, and one of them, the investment was 4.9. So that 4.9 million, if you approve the exemption, they're going to pay taxes on 20% of that 4.9 million.
The one we're talking about now is the 9 million.
Is it, are you telling me or asking? Because yes, okay. So the 9 million, they would pay taxes on 20% of the 9 million.
You finished?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Champagne?
Yeah, I've read some of this, some information on ITEPs provided by the state. And the intent of ITEP is to lure new business into an area. There are 39 states that participate in the ITEP program. There are 11 who do not. Stolthaven's been here, as Reverend Edwards said, a significant amount of time. They're here. I've read the rules, and it says that a capital expenditure is eligible for an ITEP if it significantly increases the capacity of that business's revenue. In other words, if you're doubling the size or it's significant, or a significant change of employment. From what I read, it does not do that. My colleague, Councilman Newsom, said that the revenue they made was $280 million. You had the
Yes, sir.
$280 million, and the ITEP exemption is negligible with respect to how much this company actually makes. I think we ran some numbers like $20,000 a year. I think that was at it, Councilman Newsom.
Something similar to that.
So for a company that size that makes that amount of revenue, that's negligible. That's pocket change. For a parish like us, $20,000 is significant. It's a significant amount of tax revenue that could go to our infrastructure. It could buy us
put payments down on another ambulance, another fire truck, all the things that we say we need, the things that would respond to a mass casualty event at Stolthaven. We want to be able to help you out. We want to be able to do those things. So for us, tax revenue is precious. We appreciate your company being here. It's a fantastic company with great reputation. But you have to understand the position where we're in and what the intent of ITEP is. I understand also that the construction on this thing was completed a couple years ago or started a couple years ago. And I'm wondering why the ITEP wasn't applied for then. Again, not a question, just it's rhetorical. Again, I support Reverend Edwards and his stance on this. I think that, again, the amount of benefit for our parish far outweighs the cost for a company that generates revenue at the size that your company does. I yield.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes, one more question. Mr. If this ITEP, the one we're talking about for the $9 million project, if it is approved, what does the government lose out on?
$134,000 over 10 years, and that is an estimate.
I understand.
Yeah.
That's best estimate. So so 134,000 over 10 years.
Right. And as far as
That's,
13,000 a year.
okay, yeah, thank you, that's, okay.
there are two different ways to apply for the program. I just confirmed that. And one of them, if the work is complete, you can still apply at the end of it. You file in advance. It's similar to what another company in Plaquemines Parish did. So you're basically saying you're going to build it, and then the approval comes at the end. You can also do it the other way. But again, I'm not going to speak for LED or ITEP, but it is the way the program is set up at the state level.
Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Thank you. Any more comments from the table?
Call for the question.
Administration? Machines are open. This is for rejection of the ITEP.
Yes.
For rejection. And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
Would you like to move to 9H?
Yes.
A resolution to approve, reject industrial tax exemption application 201-80047 ITE for applicant Stolthaven, New Orleans, LLC for participation in the industrial tax exemption program relative to their expansion project in Plaquemines Parish. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offer.
I have a small change. In the second, in the first whereas, I'm taking out wishes to continue phase, but it has been completed.
Okay. I so offer with changes for rejection. Seconded by Reverend Edwards. Is there any comments from the audience?
This is for suspension only. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's on the agenda. It's on the agenda.
Hi, Richard Springthorpe from Stolthaven. I just wanted to address a couple of the things that this particular ITEP relates to. It's a fairly modest investment, but it improves the safety and the sustainability of our business locally, which includes, continuing to employ more people. In the last year, we've employed 5 more people, 2 on the engineering side, 3 on the operations side, which is directly related to this particular investment. We've also increased our business, and that increase of business more than offsets in terms of the taxes that you receive, both from us directly from sales taxes and also from our customers, as presented by Sarah Taylor. So there's a number of positives to the parish for you to continue to support our application. So I submit that you approve it.
Any
questions? Then?
Any questions from the table? Any questions from the, any comments from the audience? Ms. McCarthy.
You called many of the council members yesterday. When we spoke, you mentioned that you would hire between 5 and 15 people at a salary between 60 and 80,000. We have no guarantee of that. If you did, that would put in the people's pocket at 5 people at $60,000, $300,000, and $1.2 million at 15 people at $80,000. But what guarantee do we have that you're going to hire people from the parish?
But we have, I mean, as I said, we have actually employed 5 additional people in the last year as direct employees. And then we've taken on an additional 7 employees through contractors, so permanent at the facility. So those are actual changes in the last year alone. You know, with the continued investments such as this and continued phases that we plan, if those are, you know, if we get the support, then that will help us to continue to grow. There's no way we can grow without additional people, both contractors to support, build the infrastructure, you know, build more tanks. The next plan is to build another 12 or 13 tanks at 100 million, which of course we would apply for again. All of that takes more people, both to build and then also to actually operate in the longer term. We try to employ, we work with the school locally to try to employ as many local people as we can in the area. And we take in applications from anybody. We've been to Careers Day at the local schools and tried to promote our business to them to hope that they will apply to us and will accept anybody that, you know, passes the process. So.
Okay, if you have 84 employees currently and only 4 from Plaquemines Parish, is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
Yeah. We need you to start training people in this parish. We need a guarantee that you're going to hire people from the parish. This is very difficult for us.
We've tried for quite a long time to do that. We've had, you know, people within our organization that we've tried to make connections with the local people, particularly in the Plaquemines area, that we can try to get them here. Of course, you know, it depends on where they are and how difficult it is to get to work and things, but, you know, certainly from our side, we you know, encourage it as much as we can, so.
But you've not made plans prior to today to make sure that those additional employees are from our parish. That's my point.
We can't obviously guarantee who comes through the door and who's going to apply to our facility, but we will certainly commit to employing as many people as we can, particularly from the parish. Yeah.
I mean, 4 out of 84?
Yeah.
4 out of 84. Venture Global hiring everybody they can.
And only one of those 4 is from the West Bank.
Yeah.
Let me just say this.
Hold on.
Hold on. Mr. Newsom.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Springthorpe, correct?
Richard Springthorpe.
Mr. Richard. I want to comment, and you guys, on your business model, because y'all doing a great job, and your profits and all are doing a great job, and we appreciate you do all operating in Plaquemines Parish. Again, like my colleague said, we'd like to see more folks, and we can work on some training and going to schools, and everybody on this board will be happy to assist anyone in that. We have school board members in the audience, and I'm sure they'll be overwhelmed to get that going. But it's like I said, I don't want to use those terms, but would just like to see more local people, and it's really you know, especially on this side of the river where a lot of folks were decimated with other industries that they were in, and they need some help, and we appreciate you doing that. This ITEP is again, I think for a $5 million. Is that correct? Close to 4.992. So we'll call 5. So I did a little math there. I think if accepted, Plaquemines Parish government would lose out on about $73,000 over the 10-year period. So again, I think in the big picture, we probably could use those funds a whole lot more than Stolthaven would need it. Because again, I do want to comment and congratulate you on your business model. Evidently, it's the right way to go because you guys are doing good. So I just made those comments and look forward to working with you guys in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Reverend Edwards.
Yeah, and I want to go back to the gentleman at the school board was talking. One of the things we suggest, because it's a fact that Phoenix High School, most of the kids than any school in Plaquemine Parish have dual enrollment. Most of the kids, when they graduate, they get a degree from NUNAS because it's put straight 2 years. One of the things that I suggest to your company, go to the school, tell these kids in 10th and 9th grade, these are the qualifications, these are the skills you need. They go to NUNAS, and when they come out of NUNAS, they graduate from Finney, get a degree, they can come to the company. To me, that's the ideal situation for a kid who graduates from Phoenix High School at 18 and go to NUNAS and to actually have a career on the east bank of the river. To me, that's the ideal situation for a company. So again, I want to take the gentleman up from the school board on that you begin to look at that. But again, I just think your company could be doing more. I don't think you're doing as much as you can do because I haven't seen a plan. Because as I read the requirement, it's saying that you should have a specific plan showing how you're going to reach out to do this. And I haven't seen that. I asked the general manager, can you tell me how many employees? And the general manager telling me, I don't really know that. I have a serious problem. If you're the manager planning, you can't tell me how many people. He said, I can tell you we got people in the area. I can tell you we got people from St. Bernard, but I can't tell you how many black, but that's the area. I said, I don't care if they walk in from St. Bernard to your company. Your company is located in Plaquemine Parish, and we need to have more people from Plaquemine Parish. The amount of years you all been in Plaquemine Parish, you should have way more employees than four employees for the number of years you've been in Plaquemine Parish. I cannot accept that. I'm sorry.
I can't fully explain the reason why we have 4 out of the 84 just from Plaquemines, but through our HR department, we put out to all of the usual advertisements in the local places that we know, in order that people, and we talk to the local schools and things like that, and we have career days. So we follow the normal process to put the advertisements out there to anybody, particularly in our area. And we have been keen to take in Plaquemines people. We don't, in fact, require a very high level of school to come into the company either, to start as an operator. We can actually train up the people. We literally train every single person that comes in there for 6 months just so they can start working. And we pay them for that. So, we're happy to take in people from Plaquemines.
You arrest Reverend Edwards? Ms. McCarty?
I just think you need to be more proactive. You should have been proactive prior to this point of trying to solicit students at the high school and then train them, pull them in, instead of just having a job fair.
Thank you.
Any more comments from the table? Administration? Machines are open? This is for rejection.
Sorry, say it again. Yes.
And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0. We'll move to item 9A2.
An ordinance authorizing the parish president or his designee to do all things necessary and proper to negotiate, sign, and execute a lease on Lot D and E in the Venus Boat Harbor with the winning bidder for use as a seafood
We'd
dock.
like to defer this, if we can.
I think Mr. Hybel wanted to move on it.
There's nothing to move on.
Oh, okay. All right, good. All right, well, we'll defer that item.
9B, a resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of not to exceed dollars of hurricane recovery revenue notes of the parish of Plaquemine, state of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
I'll offer for discussion.
Okay.
I'll offer for discussion, seconded by Mr. Jurtich.
What we're doing, we're putting together a list of projects right now, and we will have them ready by next Friday so that we can turn it into Kim so that it'll be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to the next item, please. We'll defer it, yeah, we'll move to the next item.
9C is deferred. 9D, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, repairs, Point LaHash Telecom Tower project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Well, we'll defer that item, we'll come back to it.
E.
He's not there.
E, an ordinance to amend.
We'll defer that one too, because he's not here.
Yeah.
We'll move to item F.
F. An ordinance to amend the 2023 general fund operating expenditure budget, buildings, Port Sulphur, Freeport Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered. Seconded by Mr. Dorchich. Mr. DeMarco.
So I do have 3 bids to repair the roof on the 2 wings of the Port Sulphur Government Building. And the 150 will go.
Yeah, I wanted to say.
Okay. I do have bids, and this will more than cover the cost of repairing the 2 flat surfaces on either side of the Port Sulphur Government Building.
And Mr. LaFrance, as we were roaming around yesterday, you had made a comment about trying to put the gable on it. But earlier, we looked at the project and the building. There's AC units, there's a lot of mechanical.
Generator.
Yeah, the generator up there, so it's just not feasible to be able
Okay.
to do that right there.
All right. Is there any comments from the audience? From the table? Any more from the administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-4. Let the record reflect that Reverend Evans has left the table.
G, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan repairs Diamond Park project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
We'll defer that item.
I, a resolution designating the fiscal agent for the parish of Plaquemines for the period commencing June 1st, 2023 and ending May 31st, 2025. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered. Seconded by Ms. Jurtich. Is there any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes 7-4. Let the record reflect that Reverend Evans had left the table. 7-4. It passes.
9J, an ordinance to amend the 2023 operating revenue and expenditure budgets to accept a donation from Inframark LLC for Plaquemines Parish Day at the Louisiana Legislature and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
Let the record reflect that Reverend Evans is back at the table, and I also offer. Seconded by Ms. McCarty. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously 8-0.
Do you want to continue on or go back to?
What is your wishes, Reverend Edwards?
Sorry? 9B.
Yeah, your 2 items, we passed them up.
All right.
There's a tower in the fire.
Yes. I definitely want to offer both of those.
Okay. We'll move to item,
9D.
item D.
9D, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan repairs Point LaHash Telecom Tower project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
So offer.
We have a motion by Reverend Edwards, seconded by Mr. Schultz. Is there any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open.
I'm sorry.
And the measure passes 8-0.
E, an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan repairs Woodlawn Brathwaite Fire Stations project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
I'm sorry, that one I want to defer.
Defer. Will that item fall off?
Yes.
So, you want us to reintroduce it?
Well, I think it's being worked out.
Okay, all right,
Worked out how that
All
can
right.
be resolved.
good, okay, good.
Kim, did we reintroduce the hurricane recovery notes?
Yeah, we need to revert back.
You want to do it later? Okay.
Okay, we'll move to the next item, please.
9K, an ordinance to amend the 2023 manpower structure and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
I so offered. But, yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to explain to me why we're going with part-time. It's seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Who's gonna take it up?
It's a specific situation. It's for playgrounds on the south end.
Okay,
That's what it's not track operator for prom, parish ward. It's a
Okay.
Specific situation.
all right, okay. Is there any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0. Next item, please.
L is going to be withdrawn. M, a resolution authorizing the parish president to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement between the Louisiana Youth Artists and Young Authors and further authorizing the president to sign on behalf of Plaquemines Parish Government any and all documents necessary and proper to perfect or enforce this agreement and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer.
We have a motion by Mr. Schultz, seconded by Ms. McCarthy. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
N, an ordinance to amend the 2023 manpower structure and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
I offer.
We have a motion by Mr. Schultz. Seconded by Mr. Champagne. Is there any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Machines are open.
You think you can find them?
And the measure passes unanimously, 8-0.
O, an ordinance to amend the 2023 general fund operating expenditure budget, Parish Council, District 5 Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember McCarty.
We have changes. The amount in the digest has changed to 2,500 instead of 3,600. And in the chart, operating services advertising is now only, they only need $700. Operating services printing stationery forms, $800. Supplies postage, $1,000, and office equipment, $2,500. Those are the changes.
Is there any comments from the audience? From the table?
I didn't hear a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ms. Carthy made a motion. She offered with changes. Do we have a second? I'll second it. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Administration? Go ahead, Mr. Newsom.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So on this, so are we moving, so the $2,500 is for what?
Technology.
Okay.
All right. Any more comments from the table? Administration? Machines are open. Mr. Schultz? And the measure passes 6-4, 2 against.
P, a resolution to appoint a replacement member as the District 6 representative of the Plaquemines Parish Zoning and Planning Development Board and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
On line 15, we're filling in the blank with the name Christy Johnson.
And with that, I offer an ask for a second.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Newsom, seconded by Mr. Schultz. Any comments from the audience? From the table? Mr. Newsom?
Yes, this is required to do. We had a member on the zoning board, but through some ethics, the administration helped us out on this, that we had an ethics violation, so we had to make a change, and I request your support on this person. Thank you.
Any more comments from the table? Administration? Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously 8-0.
Q, an ordinance to amend the 2023 operating revenue expenditure budgets to accept a donation from the Empire South Pass Tarpon Rodeo and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
So offered.
We have a motion by Mr. Jurich, seconded by Mr. Schultz. Any comment from the audience? From the table? Mr. Jurich?
Yes, this money is to be earmarked for the park in Empire, from what I understand, 2,500 of it, and the other 2,500 for the Empire Boat Harbor. I want to be sure that that's where it's earmarked to go, so.
We good, Mr. President? Any more comments from the table? Administration? Machines are open.
Bless you.
Councilmember Edwards.
Reverend Evans?
Sorry.
And the measure passes unanimously 8-0. Next item, please.
9R is deferred. 8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
We're going back.
Okay.
This one's on behalf of Councilmember LaFrance, a resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of, do you still want it blank or do the 15 million? Rennie? Blank, introduce it blank or?
The figure, we're still leaving blank. Wait.
Okay, all right. A resolution giving preliminary approval to the
Can't hear you,
issuance.
Kim. I don't think your mic on.
It's on. A resolution giving preliminary approval to the issuance of not to exceed blank dollars of hurricane revenue recovery notes of the parish of Plaquemines, state of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith.
Thank you.
10, approval of the minutes from the May 11th, 2023 regular meeting.
Offer.
We have a motion by Mr. Schultz, seconded by Mr. Jurich. Machines are open. And the measure passes unanimously 8-0.
11B is deferred. 11C, District 1 update, Councilmember Edwards. 1, update on community center and recreation. 2, discussion about Highway 39.
I think we've already discussed that enough.
Can I take it off the agenda at the next meeting? Councilmember Edwards?
Oh, yeah, you can take it off.
D, District 8 update, Councilmember Jurisic, Fishing Pier and Port Sulphur.
Yes, I don't know if me or District 7 own it, but it's in that gray area, but just an update on, I think you got some work that's going on back there.
Yeah, so it took a little bit to get Entergy to cut the power so we could do the repairs to that electrical panel. Mr. Allen in maintenance does have the parts. He has the welder lined up to take care of that.
Thank you very much.
So when they're gonna hook it back, are they gonna give us enough expansion just in case if it's settled a little bit more, we still have a little bit to play with?
I'll make sure that happens. The way Mr. Helmers described that pier to me, that pier was built in such a way that they could park a cruise ship.
Right.
So that pier is more than adequate. But I'll make sure maintenance addresses your issue.
Thank you.
Sure. It's right on the line somewhere. That's where we crossed the line right here. I got half the pier, he's got the other half.
Well, when it's spending money, it's on you. When it's bringing money, it's mine.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion to adjourn by Mr. Champagne,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Jurtich. Machines are open.
What time is the graduation?
Measure passes 8-0. We have adjournment at 5:16 PM.